Welcome to another episode of OG55. Today's video is This Week in Disney YouTube. We're reacting to some amazing content creators in our space, all about the Disney parks. We got Hey Bricky, we got Dave from Fresh Bake, we got Offhand Disney. We're going to react. Jared and I from Capture the Magic are going to react to these little clips and kind of break it down up next here on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. I got the man himself, Jared from Capture the Magic, in the house with me today. We are reacting to three amazing content creators. But before we get started, Jared, welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's always a good time. And you can find me at Cap the Magic for all of this daily stuff over there about theme parks and entertainment, whatever it is. And yeah, I'm excited to do it because it's always fun just reacting to things. I like reaction videos. It's one of my favorite things, like creating wise, I've noticed to do.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. It's a good time. And actually, Jared and I and Slimer, we have this great show with like bi-weekly theme parking.
It's been the last couple of weeks has been each week, but usually it's at least bi-weekly. Yeah,
bi-weekly, and it's a multi-channel live stream extravaganza. We got some great AI stuff in there too now, so it's pretty fun. And make sure you guys check that out. It's on my channel, also on Jared's channel, so make sure you check it out. Oh, and Hollow Gelato as well.
But, that's right.
Hollow Gelato. Yep. All right, let's rock and roll. We got Mr. Dave from Fresh Baked. Now we're gonna react to this. This is the numbers, the T numbers, right? And we talked about it a little bit on theme parking, but before we dive into what Dave says, any initial thoughts going into this, Jared?
Nothing about these numbers really surprised me. And I kind of talked about before. I'm really bad at predicting like specific numbers necessarily, but the trends, like basically how they panned out, wasn't surprising, except for Disneyland was surprising. I suppose for Orlando, none of it was surprising, but Disneyland is, I think next year it might take the top spot.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's hear what Dave has to say, and we'll kind of go from there. Let's rock and roll.
Two numbers where COVID was an issue. But this is the first good look we've had at full-time operations, no limitations or anything like that, and themed entertainment is up 3.3% this year, or I should say in 2024. Let's take a look next at individual theme parks. Who are the most popular theme parks in the world, individually speaking? And this year, as just like every other year, for probably as long as they've been doing this report, Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in Florida is the #1 theme park at 17.8 million guests for 2024. Now, the separation isn't quite as dramatic, and that's because Disney has, they have, Magic Kingdom, Disneyland, Tokyo Disney, Shanghai Disney, Tokyo Disney Sea, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios. 8 of the 10 most popular parks in the world are Disney owned. So though that's individually one park against the other isn't quite as dramatic, they add up to a very dramatic separation between Disney and other theme parks.
I'm actually kind of surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be because it's like literally next door to like one of the most famous places on the planet, Disneyland. But DCA, I mean, number 11? I don't know. That just seems high for me for DCA for some reason, or maybe I'm underestimating. I don't know.
I always think, for on the East Coast wise, when you say Disneyland, I always think of Disneyland, and I kind of forget about DCA. If I'm being honest, like it's just one of those, I kind of group them all in, which I don't know if you guys do the same thing with like Magic Kingdom and like Disney World, but they all kind of become this one thing to me. But yeah, I mean, I think it does make sense if Disneyland's moving up, the other, the ancillary other parks would kind of move up with it. What was it the year before? Was it like 15th or something?
No, I mean it's kind of always in and around there, but it kind of always shocks me that it ranks as high as it does, because sometimes it's like neck and neck with like IOA and stuff. And I think I mentioned it on theme parking because I've never been to IOA, but I feel like, at least from outside looking in, like I feel like IOA would be a stronger park for some reason, and I just feel like it's just weird that DCA always seems to kind of be in and around those numbers. But I mean, again, I could be underestimating DCA, but I mean, I just feel like it's kind of surprising that it ranks as good as it does. But again, it's next to Disneyland. So, and you bring up a great point. No one's going to Disneyland Resort. Like, I mean, if you're going to go to Disneyland Resort, you're probably going to do both, right? With the park hoppers and stuff anyway. So I guess it kind of makes sense. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then like especially it's probably typically a 3-day destination, Disneyland, somewhere around there. Probably not a week long. So 2 parks makes sense that people would just throw. If they're going for Disneyland, but they throw in DCA, a lot of people along with their trips. That'd make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we even the first Universal park to show up on this list is number 12, Universal Studios Beijing. Then you have Universal Studios Florida at number 13, and then Islands of Adventure Florida also at number 14. Disney parks, or I should say, the Magic Kingdom was up 0.7% last.
Now, Universal Hollywood isn't on this list, and we talked about this on Theme Parking as well. But it's like I feel like with that park in particular, because it has been busy. I was there today, and it was really, really busy. I think what happened in 2024 is I think there was a huge swell from the previous year for Super Nintendo World opening, because I think that was a banner year for them, and I think that sort of exhausted a lot of the hype for that park, and then I think it kind of came back down to earth a little bit when 2024 rolled around, and that Nintendo World stuff sort of calmed down. Is that kind of where your mindset's at when it comes to that, or?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, too, if you also look at it for people that are wanting to go for Nintendo specifically, once they knew, like, say, Epic Universe was going to be open within a year, they may have just decided we'll go there once that opens and check out the new park and Nintendo. So it could have been sort of like a double thing of, Super Nintendo World has been around a little bit in Hollywood. Then you have the new one coming up. And so people just maybe shifted if they were just specifically looking at like Nintendo Land.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Last year, Disneyland was up 0.5% last year. Look at how close they are. It used to be, if I recall, that there was more of a separation between Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. Disneyland is just holding on strong as the number 2 park. And then
and Jared, you did mention that you were surprised at that, right? Like how close. I mean,
it was very close. I mean, to the point where I do think next year, like if the reports are true, we're seeing that maybe attendance has been down, especially this summer at Disney World. Yeah, I think Disneyland could make a push at number 1, which I think that may be the first time that's ever happened on this T report.
As far as I can remember, I've never seen Disneyland surpass the Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is always number 1, as far as I've always known.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's like a pretty wide margin usually. So yeah, when those came out, I was very surprised. And I think that they're making more of a push for Disneyland to become more of a destination. So how that pans, I mean, that'll be very interesting. I'm sure at some point, if Disneyland took it over, one would assume once all the new things are built at Magic Kingdom and all that stuff, that it would probably get back its top spot maybe. But yeah, it's very, very close.
Yeah, and what's really interesting too is Disneyland is not. I mean, Disneyland doesn't have the space that Magic Kingdom has.
Right.
The physical space, and to cram almost as many people into Disneyland as you do the Magic.
Did it seem more crowded, like just in terms of that park in general, than previous years?
Not really, which is kind of weird, but I mean, I guess it was. I don't know, kind of weird. I mean, how many acres is Magic Kingdom?
110 ish,
okay,
somewhere around there.
Okay, I think Disneyland is like 80-ish or 90, so that's interesting.
Okay.
But it's also a park built in the 50s where a lot of that stuff is still like these little narrow walkways and stuff. Like Magic Kingdom doesn't really have any of that. Like we have a lot of like our New Orleans Square is a tight fit. It wasn't built in the modern era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
is there like an off-peak time at Disneyland? Because in Disney World now, there's really not. It used to be January and February, but that's just as busy now as, I mean, actually the slow time in Disney World is actually the summertime the last few years.
Yeah. You know what? It's weird. There really isn't an off time either. And I think part of that is I blame personally the reservation system, because Disney, what they're doing is they're funneling people into the off days, right?
Yep.
So I think it's making it where like you can go on a Tuesday and it's packed because every Magic Key, whatever tier it is, we can't go the weekend, so we'll go Tuesday instead, right? So now even Tuesdays and Wednesdays are packed. So that reservation system has really changed the game. And I've also noticed too, have you noticed this with Disney World? but I feel like the holidays are like the new, like I think you said like the holidays are like the new summer, right? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, the holidays are slammed. I mean, it used to be like, 2015, 2016. You could go early, second week in November. It was, wasn't bad. It was kind of a lower thing. That's not the case anymore. It might be lower than compared to Christmas, but yeah, you get close to Christmas, it's just slammed in the parks. I mean, the same thing. Universal's not much different either. Go over there for their Christmas stuff. Theme parks at Christmas time have become very, very busy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Disney during the Christmas time is amazing. I love Christmas in general,
Oh,
but
same.
yeah, it's an incredible time of year. And then when you take, and it sounds so cheesy, I hate saying this, but like I don't know how else to say it. Like the magic of Disney, right? And then you put the magic of Christmas on top of that. It's just like a banger combination, dude.
I will say there's nothing that it's really hard to beat Main Street at Christmas. Like when you're just walking, especially there's like Snope going and all that stuff like that. Like got the big Christmas tree. This is why I love Wilderness Lodge. They have a massive Christmas tree in there during like the holidays. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. I want to just sit around a fire and just chill by a tree. I love it.
That's amazing. Now, is Wilderness Lodge, is that kind of like our like Grand Californian hotel? It's very woodsy, very like
Yes, very, very similar. I love too, like, I don't know if you guys have this, but at Wilderness Lodge, it's got, multiple stories, but they have little nooks in there that'll have like a fireplace and like rocking chairs around it. So you can actually sit around and just chill by a fire inside and stuff like that. It has become my favorite resort. I love that place.
Yeah, we actually have the fireplaces at the Grand Cali as well.
Okay.
And funny story actually. We were there this past August for the OG55 like official meetup, right? And Tones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Tones. So we ate at Her Stone Lounge over there at the Grand Californian, and they seated us like outside next to like one of their fireplaces in like some of those like wicker chairs or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
oh man, and it was middle of August. I mean, I'm telling you, it was hot outside, and they keep these fireplaces on like it doesn't matter what time of year. And Tones I was cracking up, man. He's like, why do they got this thing on? He's like, my neck is like melting off,
Yep.
It's pretty. But yeah, but it is nice though, especially during the holidays, dude. You can't beat that,
Oh, dude. No, when you guys come down in March, remind me, we need to go to Geyser Point. That's a restaurant it's at Wilderness Lodge, but it's this indoor kind of like lounge, I guess you would call it. It's not really like a sit down or quick service, but they have, you can see the Magic Kingdom from there on the waterway, and they have little fire pits around it. It's a cool vibe, and usually in March. It's still like in the evening. It'd be cool enough where a fire like isn't too bad.
Nice, cool.
And who are the big leaders? Tokyo Disney Sea is up 2.9%. Shanghai is the second highest increase. Shanghai, Disneyland's up 5%. They went from 14 million to 14.7 million. That's a lot.
I mean, Universal Japan, the one in Osaka is crushing it, man.
I was getting ready to say the other thing that was a little surprising is that. Do you think that's the anime influence that they're kind of leaning more into in Japan?
I think so, and I think Nintendo is a huge part of that equation. And Universal has made a lot of smart moves when it comes to the Asian markets. I mean, even out here in the States, that stuff is really big, and they've been leaning into it out here as well. But I think that's a big deal, man. I mean, Nintendo in Japan is like, I mean,
I can imagine. I want to go to Japan. Me and my wife were talking about the other day, like we want to go to Japan, and I'm very like I see people that travel over in the videos, and like Nintendo stuff is just everywhere. I want to see that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's like a bucket list kind of thing, right? Like going to Japan and checking out the parks, and even just exploring like Tokyo and the city and stuff.
I talked to a guy that went. He was like, it is so remarkably clean everywhere. Like he's just like, it's just and you don't have to worry about crime. He's like, there's no really crime there. You can just walk around like all that, and like even late at night, you don't have to worry about anything. I was like, okay,
hey, that's pretty nice. I mean, it's nothing like LA, I guess, huh?
Parts of Jacksonville that are far from me. Yeah.
All right, we have another fantastic creator. His name is Offhand Disney. Actually, I had the pleasure of meeting Offhand. When was that? I think it was the kickoff for the 70th back in May at Disneyland, and a really good dude, man. He makes some really great content. But he's talking about projection faces over at Walt Disney World, the Frozen Ever After attraction.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, we're gonna take my hand, Jared. We're gonna go to the uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's not a good look on those, especially if those projection faces don't work. It's creepy. Like,
Oh my gosh.
we've been on that before where you're going through there and you're just like, oh no, oh, you should have shut this ride down.
Oh, they're just a big Windows logo in the middle of the face, right?
Well, sometimes you'll actually see the line. They have the line that kind of divides the face up for the computer to target it, and sometimes you'll see the line there, and sometimes there's just the lines with no face, and
Oh
it's
my
just
gosh.
yeah, it's a little eerie.
That's crazy. Well, let's see what you have to say. Let's rock and roll. Wow.
Soon, this will be a thing of the past. Not getting stuck on Frozen Ever After. No,
Like too much
the
makeup
projection
on prom.
faces on Frozen Ever
You know,
After. And
it does look like that. Like she really caked it on, right?
Yeah, like just way too much makeup, and you're just like doesn't match the skin tone.
Unbelievable. You know, Disney was going through this projection facing, and look, here's the thing, it didn't work out, right? But I actually do. Here's the thing when it comes to stuff like this, right? I do want Disney to try new technologies and take that swing, even if they fail, right?
Yeah.
So for this, I appreciate them trying to reinvent the animatronic and trying to get it where, okay, how can we turn animatronics into something more fluid with facial expressions and all that? I respect the idea behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
sense
you know, execution was terrible though.
Yeah, like from a budget standpoint, it makes sense if you could make that work versus animatronics that are going to be much more expensive to do and if they break down. But yeah, it never has looked quite right whenever it even when it's working, it just looks odd.
Yeah, very much so.
I consider that a very, very big win. Now, I feel like I've been an outspoken critic on projection face animatronics for a very long time.
Oh
on the
man,
channel,
look at that!
especially on Frozen.
Yeah,
Look at the line though. That's the thing.
that's
Like
one you can see a lot more in recent years too. You didn't see it often, but it's pretty regular now that you see that.
that's bad, man. I didn't know it was that defined.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I feel like it's gotten worse over time. I don't remember it being that bad like 7 years ago, but I think it's just gotten progressively worse as time has gone on.
that's rough, man. Now here's the thing. I went on the mine train ride a couple years ago, and I fell in love with that attraction. I think that's a great coaster. Look, it's not Velocicoaster. It's nothing too crazy, right? But I think it's a great speed where it's like it's thrilling enough, but not too crazy. Most families could pretty much handle that. It's kind of like a Big Thunder, basically, you know?
Right.
The faces on the dwarves don't bother me as much. I think it works better in the cave where it just makes logistical sense. You want to light them up, and it looks like it matches the environment a little better. But when you have Anna and Elsa with the faces, it just doesn't fit like the vibe of the IP. I don't know. It just works better with the dwarves for some reason.
I've never noticed, and that's the thing too. I never noticed the projection stuff as much on Seven Dwarfs, and maybe it's just because it's a quicker moving coaster you're going through or something like that. But yeah, I've always noticed it more because I think you have more time to stare at the Frozen ride. Like you're going by it and it's kind of there longer, so your eyes immediately fixate on it a little bit more, and
Yeah.
it sticks out like that right there. Like you can just clearly see. And I think the dwarves have beards and stuff too. So you don't see the defined like jawline, the difference between the skin tones.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what are your thoughts on this Frozen ride overall? I mean, because it was Maelstrom before, and I know that was controversial, getting rid of that for this. I mean, do you think it's an okay kind of revamp or overlay, or do you wish they kind of go back to the Maelstrom?
It's weird still having Frozen at Epcot. Like I'm fully perplexed as to why Disney has not capitalized more on Frozen, like putting it in Magic Kingdom. Because I feel like if you're going to put any IP that's that big, Magic Kingdom makes a ton of sense. The ride itself, like when our daughter was real little, like she loved it. The kids love it. It has like you go through the queue and you're going through Arendelle. Like if you're a kid and you love Frozen, like it's great. I like Vikings and that stuff. So for me personally, I would rather have Maelstrom. But I mean, if you're a kid, you like Frozen, like they're not going to complain about this, I would say. But yeah, I would rather see Frozen in another park. But at this point, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if we ever got Westcott, which again, this is like a personal like dream of mine that's never gonna happen. But if we if we ever by miracle got Westcott, this is what they would do. It would be the continents or countries, and it would be a bunch of Disney IP. Like, okay, where can we put Mulan? Okay, we'll put her in Asia. You know, stuff like that. And I think that's the direction. I think Epcot, you're probably gonna see more and more of this IP infusion as time goes on. We got Frozen, Ratatouille. It feels like this is the new thing now, you know?
It is. And like the thing is, it has more, if you look at it from just a demand standpoint, like it still has pretty high demand for this ride. I mean, it first opened had like 5-hour wait times. And then I think it's pretty, on a busy day, you'll still see this thing hit like, almost 200 minutes. So it still has a lot of demand.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Uncanny. Why are their faces glowing? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense story-wise, unless that's part of Elsa's powers, but even if that were the case, it still doesn't look very good. And would you look at that, we must have entered Q4 of the fiscal year or something, because Disney has been making a lot of announcements this month, specifically in October. One regarding these projection faces. That's very, very good. Very encouraging to me for the future of the Disney parks. And earlier this month on October...
Let me ask you this, Jared, because we recently... When did Fancy Springs open? Like a year ago or so-ish, I guess, over in Tokyo?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Now, this is just a theory of mine, but I mean, I could be totally off base. I kind of want to bounce it off you, though, and see what you think. Do you think that... Because obviously Tokyo gets the better everything, every single time, right? But now they did the R&D... Tokyo did the R&D for their figures and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's why we're seeing them decide now to kind of go in there and change them? Because now they have the Frozen over in Tokyo animatronics. Now they got something they could put over here, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
It could be part of that. I think on some level, this is, not to sound corny, like people have quoted the epic universe effect of that park. It has its issues, of course, with wait times, but it's so immersive, and those animatronics on those rides are just so lifelike. And I've said this before. My theory is it's going to raise the bar in terms of what people like kind of expect from immersion. So if you go to Epic and see those, and then you go say ride Frozen Ever After, you're going to be like, "What is this?" and I think and you're seeing Disney do this like this ride. They're going in changing up Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. Like they're doing a lot of these little tweaks on these rides that I think are just upping the quality. And part of me does think that's because of what Epic Universe has done.
Hey, I mean, I said it when they did the reveal for the Monsters Unchained AAs or whatever. The texture of the skin and everything was incredible. Like nothing I've seen out of Disney. I mean,
dude, in person, it's there. Not only is the detail, but like the size. It's nuts how well they did those animatronics on that ride. I think I kind of said all along that if that stuff was able to be pulled off, and so far it seems like it has, you're going to see other parks being like, okay, like we're not going to really get away with just projecting a face onto Anna anymore, because it's just obvious. It looks like you're playing like Minecraft. It just doesn't even remotely look like you're immersed into a story.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. And let's dip into this animatronic too, because I got some thoughts on this one too.
October 8th, Disney Parks blog put out a very interesting article. One talking about Zootopia, Better Zoogether, the show that is replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug underneath the Tree of Life at Disney's Animal Kingdom, but also announcing that Frozen Ever After would be receiving brand new
Okay, so let's actually go back a little bit actually on this, because I do want to talk about this. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what do you think about this animatronic? I have thoughts on some of the skin and the fur or whatever about it, but I don't know. I might be a nitpicky, douchey fanboy when I say my opinion. But what do you think? Are you liking this animatronic, or are you?
I kind of want to see it move first. But I wondered. So the Bugs Life thing that was there actually had a very good animatronic in there. I'm wondering if they repurpose that and put for this one. I don't know that character's name. I've seen Zootopia once and I forget all the characters, but it looks okay. Yeah, it's just when it comes to animatronics, I like to see them move first, and I think that adds a lot to it. But if it's the same animatronic they had before, it should be pretty like fluid, because that was one of the better ones they actually had in any of the parks.
Yeah, the one in this one might be better. I don't think I've seen this one in action, but I've seen the one in action over in Shanghai, Zootopia. They got the same character in their big attraction.
Oh, okay.
And the one, and this is where I'm going to sound like a douchey fanboy, but like the way, and you can kind of see it under his chin right here. It looks like it's not it looks like cloth is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't look like animal fur or like an animal autonomy. It looks like it's something covering a robot, and like almost like those Chuck E. Cheese, like, you know, those figures. You could tell it doesn't like sit on the robot properly. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I can now that you pointed out, I can kind of see that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bothers me. But this one might be better though, to be fair. But because the Shanghai one opened a few years ago, this one might be more advanced. So we'll see, you know.
Yeah.
But that Hopper animatronic for the Tough to Be a Bug was absolutely insane, dude.
Dude, that thing was wild. And so it's very similar to what the Navi River ride, which is not that great of a ride, but the animatronic in there with the shaman, when that thing works, that thing looks like an actual person.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is crazy.
Month on October 8th, Disney Parks blog put out a very interesting article. One talking about Zootopia, Better Zoogether, the show that is replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug underneath the Tree of Life at Disney's Animal Kingdom, but also announcing that Frozen Ever After would be receiving brand new audio animatronics. Quick tangent, quick side note. Just a funny little anecdote I'd never heard before. The animatronics in Frozen Ever After are very fluid. They're very important to the storytelling of the ride, as are most audio animatronics. Elsa is the main character of this sort of attraction, and her movements are very, very important. She casts her magical ice spells with her hands, so her hand movements have to be very fluid and very graceful when she casts her spells. So a ton of work went into getting her wrists just right, so that she would be able to cast these spells as we rode past on our boat. And everything else in the ride was scaled to match Elsa's wrists. Just her wrists, so that everything made sense around how big the machinery was in her wrist. I think that's really funny. Everything you see in the ride, maybe even down to the queue, probably not, but all of the show scenes are all scaled to the Queen's wrist. I just think that's really, really funny. That's really cool attention to detail that I would only expect.
I think it's a cool attention to detail, but at the same time, I feel like that could lead to problems where you're like hyper focused on, like, I think like sometimes you can get too bogged down into, we got to get the wrist right. And then the face, and then you don't pay attention to the faces. Now you have lackluster faces, which kind of kill the whole thing, but you got the wrist right. You know what I'm saying?
All the money went to the wrist and none to the faces. They're like, just project it on there.
It's fine. We got the wrist right. We could, you know, what the faces don't matter, right?
I will say historical Imagineering, that's one thing I love, like especially the old school Imagineers, they would put so much detail into things that guests would never know. And I think that's the stuff that, like, over the years, maybe it's like, I'd like for them to get back to that, because I think that's what Universal has done well with, like, I've heard them talk about the Monsters Unchained animatronics, and they had to develop new technology for those. They essentially said they're basically almost like new types of robots. They worked them from the ground up and all this. They wanted to move certain ways. So, like, I love attention to detail like that. But yeah, it seems if they went all about the wrist, they may have just been like, we'll do the faces later, and maybe now is later.
Right. Well, and here's the thing too. When it comes to any of these things, any project, there's not an unlimited amount of money. So if you're putting like so much resources into her wrists,
right,
something else is getting cut or moved around. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I agree with him. I think it's cool that they took so much care into the wrists, because I do think those are important with how she moves. But I don't know if I would have had the better wrists with the cheaper faces. I think that I would have probably settled for a little lesser of the wrist action, and we got better faces too, and had a more of an overall kind of quality instead of just like the wrist, but everything else is sort of like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
We'll balance it out. By the way, one gross thing about Frozen Ever After. So I had Timmy Britt on our show 3 or 4 years ago. He's a former Imagineer, and he worked on this going from Maelstrom over to Frozen, and he was saying that one thing that people don't know, and it's gross, is that when they redo a ride, and he's like, when they paint stuff, nobody knows how much basically poop is all over stuff because like kids going through and touching him, and he's like, so one of the things you do is you scrape all that stuff off. So he's like, yeah, always use hand sanitizer in the parks. I'm like, okay. I mean, he was saying that ride in particular, like it was bad. Like I guess it was like they had to go in there and redo, like scrape all the paint off for that reason.
Oh my God, they're like feces everywhere.
No, because you think about it, like when you got little kids, they're all the time like, you know, they poop or whatever, and they got stuff on their hands, and or the parents change their diapers. He was just saying like it's a cumulative effect over time. He's like, yeah, so most rides when you're going through there have a certain layer of stuff on them. And I was like, you know, I could have done without that.
Yeah, that's pretty that's pretty gnarly. But you know what? The first thing that popped in my head was like, what about those big touch screens at like McDonald's now?
Dude. Oh, yeah. There's a screen in the Winnie Pooh ride here where it's like a honey screen that you touch it and it reacts to you. And every time when our kids, I'm like, do not touch that screen. It just looks so gross.
That's gnarly. That is so gnarly.
From Disney. Now, the audio animatronics used in Frozen Ever After were the first sort of iteration of these 3D printed, fully electric audio animatronics that we see more commonly now in rides like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or even Frozen Ever After, or the Tangled ride over in Hong Kong and Tokyo Disney. And because they're the Gen 1 sort of animatronics, they are a bit lacking compared to their twins overseas, so Disney is replacing them. They're upgrading them with the newer audio animatronics. Which means, my friends, that the projection faces are finally dead at Frozen Ever After. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that's a different story. I don't think they're as intrusive there as they.
Yeah, and we said the same thing. For some reason, it works here. You know what I'm saying? And I did a video, and we're gonna do it. Actually, we're gonna react to Hey Bricky today as well. But I did a video with Bricky a couple days ago about 3D attractions, right? And a lot of this technology, whether it's 3D or even like projection faces or whatever, a lot of it is case by case kind of, right? Because this kind of proves that in a way where it's like, okay, this seems to work. It's not nearly as jarring, but when you put it on an Elsa, it doesn't really work. So it's like, you know, Disney Imagineering, they have all these tools in their toolbox that they can utilize and pull out when they need it. But it takes a little bit of skill and money, probably too, budget, to kind of like, you know, figure out what is the appropriate use of certain technologies, you know, and a lot of it is the IP and what kind of attraction. But yeah, this works. I'm fine with this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to change these. Do you? I don't know.
I don't. You've heard about the On and Elsa stuff. Like people ride that and they're like, that looks weird. I've never heard anybody really comment on the Seven Dwarfs, but there's also a lot more of them in the ride, so that would cost a lot more money to do. Yeah. But I also think it's because again they have hats and a beard, so you only have the face. It doesn't have that weird contrast, and they're not talking. I think that's the thing too that's weird about Frozen Ever After. Like they're talking and singing and doing stuff, and it just. The uncanny valley thing, like it just looks odd.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's like nightmare fuel. Imagine waking up to one of those, you know.
Just a blank face with lines.
Oh man,
there is a horror movie in there somewhere.
100%. Hey, maybe for the next theme park, and that might be a good like AI skit or something, right?
I'll see what Sora can do. I will, yeah. Like create me faceless, and they have to have voices of children to be really spooky to like wake you up. It's like with your kids sometimes will wake you up and they'll just come in. They don't say anything and they're just standing by your bed and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's like, that's crazy. Well, we have one more clip we're going to react to today. We got Mr. Hey Bricky. This is his secondary channel, Bricky Vlog. By the way, I'll be linking all these channels down below in the description. So make sure if you're not subscribed to all these amazing channels, make sure you do so. This is actually about Tron and why we can't have Tron at Disneyland. He makes an interesting case here. So now you've been on Tron over at Magic Kingdom, right, Jared?
Yes. Yeah. Is it because Tron didn't make any money? You guys can't have it. Is that the reason?
That's probably the biggest reason now, huh? I mean it's well, I don't know. I don't want a projection faced Jared Leto at all. So
that's probably a blessing. Jared Leto, weird desert cult come with it too, and you're just like, I don't know if we want all this in Tomorrowland or not.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right, here we go. Here comes Mr. Bricky.
So the first place that people kind of eyeball Tron come into here is Utopia. And even though land-wise it would fit, it would also create a ton of sacrifices. Let me break those down to you. Item number 1, the peak of Tron is 78 feet tall, but the canopy that goes over the top of it is 105 feet tall.
Wow.
Matterhorn is 147. So yes, there is about a 40-something foot difference between the two, but the Matterhorn doesn't possess.
This is why I love Bricky. This guy goes so deep into the nerd verse, you know, and it's amazing. I love this, you know.
I'm the same way because I don't get that granular with that type of stuff, which I like hearing from Bricky. By the way, we need to get Bricky on Theme Parking sometime. That'd be fun to kind of break down stuff. But like Slimer's the same way. It's like these details, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. But when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, this thing is almost gonna be as tall as the Matterhorn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Possess enough circumference to completely block out Tron and its glowing canopy. And if placed in this area, it would definitely hover over It's a Small World. The canopy would be able to be seen from different parts of Fantasyland, not only breaking the illusion of Fantasyland, but creating a lot of light spill that would definitely affect the way all of that feels. Like, do you really want to see a canopy of Tron over the top of Mr. Toad's mansion?
Yeah, no, he makes a great point here. And this is actually the spot. And I know you've never been to Disneyland, but this spot right here, you can see Small World in the background. This is where he's standing is kind of where the old motorboat cruise used to be. And it was kind of like intertwined with our current Autopia. And then as you go further down, we have the submarine voyage, right? For me personally, I would take the submarine voyage out and clear all this all the way up. And this is where I would have put Pandora, because it sits kind of in between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. And I feel like Avatar is at that perfect transitional franchise between fantasy and tomorrow. And you're not like, aesthetics is never going to be a problem when it comes to a Pandora. I mean, it's gorgeous, right? True. So you don't get the ugly, like, you know, like he's complaining, like saying about like the light pollution and all that. You're getting like really cool aesthetics. The rock work can kind of play off the Matterhorn. But, you know, we're at D23 and Daddy Josh comes out there and he's like, nope, it's going in DCA. I'm like, how's that going to work, you know?
Yeah. Pandora, and one thing you guys will be able to do that, like Pandora is actually really cool at night, and it's never open at night. Like Animal Kingdom closes like 6 o'clock at night.
It's crazy.
So you barely, like, there's very few people have actually seen Pandora. I shouldn't say very few, but there's not a ton of people that have seen it at night, because like in the last few years, there may have been a handful of times you could actually see the luminous lighting, because it is like at night, it's a completely different land. Like you go through there and just all the glowing stuff and everything like that. So you guys be able to see that more often whenever they do build it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Because when I was there like 2 years ago, we were there at the end of July, early August, and that was like middle of summer where it doesn't get dark until like 8:30.
Yeah,
and Animal Kingdom's long closed by 8:30.
Yeah, they did in like 2019, and the T report numbers we were talking about earlier. In 2019, Animal Kingdom was the #2 park, which was very probably because of Pandora, but it was open late, pretty frequently, so you could be there till like 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, and check it out. But it's you don't do that much anymore. But it is a very, it's like, to me, it is the best, most recent land that Disney has made, in my opinion. I think it's a great land.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. You're right. It's peak Imagineering, you know.
But you had Joe Rohde and James Cameron. I mean, put those guys together. I mean, it took 6 years to build, but I mean, it's a great land. And I don't even care about Avatar. I just like the land.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not a huge Avatar guy either. I don't think anyone's really an Avatar person, but
we had $4 billion at the box office, and it was like, they're okay.
They're okay. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. James Cameron has a deal with the universe or something, because
I don't get it either. I remember seeing Avatar. My wife and I were dating, and because it was just such a we went and saw it, and I was like, it's okay. Like, I didn't understand why it was so hyped up, and then you look at the box office and you're like, okay, all right. And then the second one makes a bunch of money, and I'm like, I'm sure the third one will too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Personally don't, but maybe you do. So sitting in this spot, you would have a canopy that would be very, very wide, and you would be able to see it on the east and west side of the Matterhorn, which then means that you would also be able to see this canopy while standing in the hub. So when you stood in the hub, you would see Sleeping Beauty Castle, you would see the Matterhorn, and in between the two, you would see the light canopy. And this creates a major problem. So let's backtrack. Standing over here in front of Small World, you would have the huge canopy right over in here that would totally spill over into this area and break this illusion.
And this is he brings a lot of great points up, like, because a lot of fans get in here and they're like, yeah, man, just put it over here. But the way Bricky breaks this down is like, okay, yeah, technically maybe you can fit it in there, but you know what? At what cost, right? Like, I mean, do we really want the light cycles like just like feet away or whatever from It's a Small World? I mean, that's kind of, you know.
This is why I always say there's a difference between an amusement park and a theme park. So a theme park is supposed to like make you feel certain things, whisk you away, trying to tell a story. Amusement parks are just trying to jam as much stuff as they can into whatever space they have to get people to ride stuff. And I think, yeah, something like that would feel very amusement park like, because you're not like the site, especially in Disneyland, all the history there. It's like all of a sudden you got this Tron Light Cycle run right where you can see the castle. And ours, you can't see it. I mean, it doesn't interfere with anything with Cinderella's Castle, because Cinderella's Castle is like straight on, then you go to the right and it's down there. So nothing messes with that sight line. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like it's a cool ride and the aesthetics are cool for Tomorrowland, but it's a big footprint with that canopy.
Yeah, and our park Disneyland is very, it's a smaller scale park, and that was actually one of the problems a lot of fans had actually with Galaxy's Edge, because when you go to Disneyland, Jared, you'll notice like the whole park is kind of one scale, but then you kind of weave through and you go into Batuu, and it's like modern Disney scale, like massive, and it's like, whoa, it doesn't even feel like you're at Disneyland. It's completely different. Like, it feels very separate. It feels like its own theme park in a way, which a lot of people don't like that. It feels very, I think Slimer mentioned that was his least favorite element of Disneyland, but it was because you do feel that separation. It doesn't feel integrated into the main park, so
yeah. And not to mention it's just a bad Star Wars land, at least in my
I'm telling you. No, yeah. I mean, I think it looks cool, but man, we got to get the OT in there. We got to get some prequel action in there. We got to get some kinetic energy in there. I mean, and I don't get it. The land opened in 2019. Like, what are you waiting for? And they've made some strides, I guess, they have like, Mando and Baby Grogu and all that. I get that, but I mean, they got to really ramp this up. I mean, what we were promised is there's a huge divide between what they promised and what we got, right?
Well, what's even crazy, I was there opening day at our Galaxy's Edge, and I remember as I walked out of the land, he was a higher up manager, and he's like, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he's asking me what I thought about it, and that ours opened without Rise of the Resistance. So I was like, "Well, it feels kind of odd without Rise, but I know it's opening later." And he was asking me like, "Are you a big Star Wars fan?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I like it. I'm not dressing up as a as a stormtrooper, but like I enjoy Star Wars." And he was saying, I was like, it'd be really cool to have some kinetic elements. He said, "Oh yeah, we have plans for have a fight of TIE fighters and stuff flying overhead and like adding that stuff in there." And he's like, and he was telling me all these things they were wanting to do. And I'm like, that would be great. And none of that. So I don't know if that's something that they just scrapped, but he was really talking and he was in management somewhere on some level. Yeah. But yeah, they were all talking about all these things they were going to do. And at the time I was like, why would you not just do it when it opened? But yeah, there's so many things you could do there just to make that land feel more Star Wars, in my opinion.
No, 100%. I mean, even there's a projection show that they do.
Yeah, that thing is cool.
That thing is dope, yeah, and just having the music. I mean, even just having the addition of the music makes a big difference in that land.
That's what makes, honestly, Epic Universe such a cool park is the music. You walk into Super Nintendo World and it's like Nintendo music. Celestial Park has its own thing. Dark Universe music's all eerie. Like the music adds so much to them, and the fact that you have one of the best soundtracks ever, and it's nowhere in that land is baffling to me.
You have at your fingertips John freaking Williams. I mean, the music for Star Wars is a character in and of itself. And Christian Harloff, shout out to Christian Harloff, because he's always said that, and it's a brilliant way of putting it, because he's absolutely correct. And and then Disney goes, you know what? Yeah, that's cool, but let's do it without the music though.
What do you
Like,
guys say about
what?
silence? We'll have we'll have like insect chirps. That sounds cool, right? And you're like, no, no. Well, that's what makes Wizarding World so cool is the Harry Potter music from the movies, which was that was John Williams too, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
So you got John Williams with the Wizarding World stuff, and if you took out the music of the Wizarding Worlds, it would feel completely different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
I
it
just
would.
think it's such an easy add-on, and I just get very baffled, like you were saying, like why nothing has really like I'm not expecting them to bulldoze the land, which I wouldn't be against, but if they adding music in certain elements, I'm like, why would you not just do these? Like it's such an easy thing to do.
Oh, I'm telling you, could you imagine walking under that? I know we have different entrances and stuff, but walking into the entrance of Galaxy's Edge and hearing the big Star Wars fanfare.
Oh,
I mean, damn, dude, I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. I mean, then you walk in and they can have all the music.
mhm.
I mean, dude, it would be
That
sick.
alone would change probably like if I walked through the music, I guarantee you I'd come out being like, this land's not so bad. Like I would feel better about the land if it had stuff like that in there.
Oh, dude, it'd be sick. If you had that music and you had, okay, the overhead spaceships that they do and the little chirps and all that, that's cool. Now you have like a lot, like now you have a great little sound package, you know?
Yes.
That's actually what they did with our Toontown. The Toontown redo they did a few years ago, man. I mean, I think it was in 2023. It's awesome because you actually go underneath to enter Toontown. You have to go underneath the Disneyland Railroad is up above.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound package for Toontowns, when you walk under the Disneyland Railroad tracks, you can hear a cartoon train overhead.
Oh, that's cool,
dude. I'm like, that is so amazing. And then you go into Toontown and they're playing the music, and you're hearing like the zany sound effects, but all of it working in conjunction with each other just makes a cool experience, dude. And it's like, why don't you do that with Star Wars? I don't get it.
I know. I love that level of detail, and like the same thing when you're going close to Pandora. I found the spot. You go across the bridge and you take one step over, and you just slowly, you can faintly hear the Pandora. Like they have it down to like a pinpoint of where you can kind of start fading out. You go to Pandora, but like if you go on that bridge on one side or the other, you hear different stuff. And it's I love that level of detail. Like somebody went through and like, no, we need to make sure this is like easing you in here, and you can't because you can't see. I think it's the first time you can actually kind of see Pandora is when you first start hearing it, like stuff like that. I'm like, that's cool. Like do stuff like that in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, 100%.
Right now, there's a perfect design symmetry between Small World and the Matterhorn. The two together put you inside of total fantasy escapism. The future, glowing over here, changing colors, pulsing, does not work for this. Let's take a little walk and I can show you how it gets even worse. So you come out of Fantasyland and then you stare right over in here and you just see a huge pulsing canopy. Sleeping Beauty Castle stands roughly 70 odd feet tall. So
now for you Floridians, our castle is like Honey, I Shrunk the Castle. When you go to Disney,
yeah, it's a little small.
It's small. It's small. You've never been to Disneyland, right?
No.
Okay, that's the one thing I think you're gonna walk into the park. You're gonna love Disneyland, I'm sure of it. But Slimer loved it. But you're gonna walk in and that's gonna be the thing you're like, what happened here?
Yeah, my wife she's been a few times and she was like, yeah, the castle is like, I think weren't they going for more of like it was supposed to look further off in the distance type of thing is why it's smaller.
Well, I heard that it was actually Walt didn't want anything too domineering. It would be too intimidating or something like that. But I mean, I don't know. That's it could be a rumor. I'm not really sure, but that's what I heard.
Okay, I thought maybe it was like forced perspective as to why they did it. But yeah, I have heard like it's much smaller for sure.
It's tiny. It's real tiny.
Therefore, imagine something 30 feet taller. Not quite the size of the Matterhorn, but something in between. You can see the canopy in Magic Kingdom from very, very far. You can see it all around the park. And it's a much bigger, wider park where everything's stretched out. Inside the smaller footprint of Disneyland, I think that canopy could create a lot of visual problems and really ruin the heart of the park. So Disneyland was designed to look like a movie set. And all of the little tricks are designed to create a sense of scale And that scale works because every piece of the puzzle is placed together to strengthen the story next to it. No story stands independently on its own. They all work together like a choir of design. The perspective and scale is also used to keep the viewer from being able to see things Disney doesn't want you to see. There's a lot of blocking and framing, just like you would do on a movie set. So the moment a building from one land shows up at another, that instantly breaks the illusion. And it also breaks the idea that you're someplace very different than the real world, where we're constantly used to things always leaking and spilling in. So even though Autopia, circumference-wise, could hold the attraction, let me just show you what it would look like if Tron was placed on the furthest northern edge of the park. Say goodbye to the lagoon, say goodbye to Autopia, and say goodbye to the path right behind me. Literally, to make it fit, we are talking about pushing right into this path. Maybe the whole path stays, maybe half the path stays, but almost touching the Matterhorn to make Tron Light Cycle Run fit at Disneyland. That would be insane.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that, number one, yeah, that would be a huge issue aesthetically, for sure. And also, I just feel, because that was announced, I think, just the other day, due to the box office performance of Tron Ares, that they're not even going to pursue this franchise in theaters anymore.
I'm shocked to learn this. I was shocked to learn they made Ares, to be quite honest. Like, I like the aesthetics of Tron, but I even thought Light Cycle Run and Magic Kingdom, I don't know why they used Tron. Like, you could have had the exact same ride and just call it like Tomorrowland Light Cycle Run, because it does the same thing. Tron just doesn't. It's not like a bunch of people are just like, oh, we have to go check out the Tron ride. It's just the ride itself. The aesthetics I think would be cool for Tomorrowland, but where your guys, like, at least the scale, unless they did a smaller version, but even then the height of that canopy and the lights on it would probably definitely cause some issues.
100%. I heard a rumor. I don't know how credible it is or was, but there was a rumor years and years ago, like pre-Pandy, that Disney actually wanted to have that cycle ride system, but for Captain America at DCA.
Ooh.
And I guess that
on his bike, that'd be cool.
Like on his bike. And I think that the circular thing on the back would be like his shield, when you
that would be cool.
That'd be sick.
Cool. The bad thing about that ride is the best part of the ride is the first part. And then the rest of it just kind of like whatever. So like the bet, like, and that part is cool when you're going through there, but it's very short. But that would be cool, like back Captain America, do some sort of, I mean, I love Cap, so I'm all for that.
Oh, me too. Me too. Some of the best stuff in the MCU came from that particular character. I mean, Winter Soldier. I mean,
I loved the first Captain America movie. I know some people don't like it. I love that era, like the 1930s, all that stuff like that. And he's always been I grew up reading the X-Men, but once I kind of got Captain America, I was like, he's my favorite dude. Like, I love Cap. And like him with the beard and Endgame and stuff like that, or Infinity War. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick. But yeah, Jared, I want to thank you for coming on today, man. These were so great. These are three amazing content creators. Hey, Bricky, Offhand Disney, obviously Dave from Fresh Baked. We're going to be doing more of these this week in Disney YouTube. It's kind of like a series here at OG55. Just kind of breaking down what other channels are kind of talking about during the week. But Jared, I want to thank you for coming on. We are going to, real quick before we get out of here, though, we have Capture the Magic, Jared's channel. He's got a great apparel store for all your nerdy t-shirt needs. He's got Epic Universe. He's got Nintendo. He's got Disney stuff in here. Backside of Water, all kinds of goodies here. Check it out. Link in the description down below. If you use promo code OG55, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you check it out and get yourself a really cool nerdy tee. We also have the lovely and amazing Mimi Fan. She's a friend of the channel. If you're into trying new food, checking out places in the LA or Orange County area, she is your gal. Make sure you follow her on Instagram as well as on YouTube. Links down below. But if you're into like Vietnamese food, Korean barbecue, boba places, or just fun places to go, Mimi is your girl 1000%. Jared, I want to thank you for joining me, brother. Where can everybody find you on social media, my friend?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a good time. And I like doing this because I don't all the time keep up with a lot of other stuff. So it's nice to, like, you get a recap. You're like, oh, there's some good content this week. But you can find me at Captain Magic. over here on YouTube. And then if you want Universal Studios Orlando or Disney World tips and stuff for in-park things, you can check out CTM Podcast with my wife and I. We've had a podcast going for, I think, almost 8 years now. So if you want some tips there, you can check us out there or both places. But online or social media, it's just at Captain Magic.
There he is. There he is. Jared is a friend of the channel. He is a great dude, and we love his content. So make sure you go and follow him and support him over at his YouTube channels. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55, and until the next.
Thank you so much for watching OG55. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and become a member today.